Alrighty, hello everyone, and welcome to SCO's June webinar on the SCO campus and clinical facilities. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. My name is Avery Cunningham. I am a student services and admissions officer here at SCO. I am one of the admissions team members who will be answering your admissions questions and participating with you in the admissions process. Before we get started, I ask that we all use proper Zoom etiquette by keeping microphones muted unless speaking, limiting background noise, and respecting all of this webinar's attendees and facilitators. We will have time for questions towards the end of the webinar, but in the meantime, if you do have any questions or concerns that need immediate attention, please use the chat feature that will either be at the bottom or the sides of your screen to communicate with us. Today, one of our incredible student ambassadors will be guiding you through a brief virtual tour of our campus and clinic here in Memphis, Tennessee. From the tower, which is our main administrative building, to the Eye Center, which is our main clinic operation, to our external clinics, and all that includes. You'll learn more about the function of these different departments, the resources available to students, and the type of education you might expect to receive here at SCO. If you aren't able to visit the school in person, this is a great way to learn more about the campus. Now, before I turn it over to Catherine to introduce herself, just a quick note that this webinar is being recorded and will be free and available to view starting next week on our website. And with that, I turn over to Catherine, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself real quickly, who you are, where you're from, and maybe why you chose SCO, and then we'll get started.
Okay, hi. Thank you, Avery. My name is Catherine Saunders. Like Avery said, I'm an ambassador here. I'm currently a third year at SCO. I'm originally from the Dallas, Texas area, and I went to my undergraduate at Oklahoma State. I chose SCO for many, many, many reasons that I could talk to you all day about, but mainly everyone at SCO made me feel super welcomed from the first day that I came on a prospective student tour. I felt like SCO really wanted me as a person, not just a number in their class, and SCO's reputation kind of preceded itself. It was a really good program, and as soon as I stepped on campus, like you'll get to see in this presentation, the facilities matched everything that I had heard of. So many more reasons too that I can get into as we go throughout. We're going to start today with a tour of our tower. Our tower is 11 stories, and this is kind of the bread and butter of SCO. It's where you're going to spend most of your time during your first and your second year on campus. So our tower opened in 1970. There were a ton of renovations done in 2013 as a response to student surveys and what the students thought SEO could improve upon, and different things that the students wanted. And I'll try and point those out as we go throughout our presentation today as well. So there's classrooms, labs, all of your faculty offices are there, the student services administration office. So like I said, it's 11 floors, so plenty to cover today. Okay, our first stop here is the atrium. This is located on the first and second floor, right outside of the classroom. This is one of those major renovation points that we were just talking about that happened in 2013. The students really wanted an area with more natural light that was available. So this was a huge renovation that went on. Students use this for a multitude of reasons. A lot of students like to study out here, just kind of get a break from the classroom and get a little bit of natural light as they study. A lot of group studying goes on here. Some people just prefer to eat their lunch out here and get a little bit of break from the classroom. So it's a really versatile area. It's one of my favorite study spots on campus as well. And during the new student orientation, there's the student organization fair that takes place here as well. You get to learn about all the different organizations we have on campus. We've got over 20 student organizations for whatever aspect of optometry you're interested in joining, like ocular disease, vision therapy, low vision, all the way to intramurals. We have a social club that does a ton of events. So you'll kind of get to get your toes wet with that experience as you go through that. And that will take place here in the atrium. This is our theory and methods lab. This is kind of where you get to put everything you're learning in the classroom into practice. It's located on the first floor of the tower, and you're in here starting day one of your first year. You're learning how to do, it's called retinoscopy, where you just shine a light in the back of your patient's eye and you can get an estimate of your prescription. And like I said, you're doing that from the first day of clinic. During your first year, you're in the theory and methods labs in the afternoon. You're in there 2 days a week. And then in your second year, that'll switch and you'll be in the theory and methods lab in the morning. As you can see in the bottom left photo, that's kind of what all the lanes look like. They have all the equipment that you'll need set up in that one lane, and you'll be assigned a lab partner for that day. And it changes every week, so you get to see a bunch of different eyes before you start over in the clinic. And another really great thing about the Theory and Methods Lab is it's open after hours. So after you're done with class or lab for the day, you can come back in that night and kind of hone in on your skills and get to practice to be the best doctor that you can be. And there's upperclassmen that are in there during those hours, and they just went through the same thing that you went, that you're actively going through, so they can help give you tidbits of advice. It's been a super helpful tool as you can kind of refine your skills. They can give you little tips and tricks that they've learned throughout clinic as well. So that's our Theory and Methods lab. Okay, our next stop is the North-South classroom. This is located on the second floor of the tower right next to the atrium. As you can see, it's a really big classroom. You have about 130, 135 per class, so even with that big of a class, there's still tons of room to spread out. Each seat has a charger next to it because you're going to be in class for about 3 to 4 classes a day. Each one's about an hour long, so you're in there for a decent chunk of time. So it's really nice to have those outlets. If you're anything like me, my devices die really quickly. And each seat also has a microphone next to it. All of our lectures are recorded via service called Panopto. It's really nice if you miss a little thing that your professor said. You don't have to be frantically taking notes as quickly as you can. You can always go back and rewatch the recording, or if you're sick a day, you don't have to miss the lecture completely. You can go back and rewatch it at a different time. So that's a really nice thing that SCO does, and you have access to those throughout your time at SCO. So while you're going back and reviewing for boards that you'll take during your third year, if there's a topic that you really don't feel confident about, you can go back and watch that specific recording as well. Also, in the classroom, we have a note taker service. So your class will vote on a note taker for every single class, and that person's job is to go to class, they take really good notes, and they upload them to one of our services that we have, and you will pay for that class's set of notes. It's not super expensive. It's never more than $100 for all the notes for every single class for a semester. So it's a really great way for the note taker to make a little extra money while they're in school. And if you're not that great of a note taker, they're a really nice study resource as well. This is also where you'll be taking all of your exams. At SCO, we have exam weeks. So during exam weeks, you won't have any class. You'll just have your exams and labs. And you'll take all of your exams in one week, which can sound a little overwhelming and daunting, but I've really enjoyed exam weeks. I was a little bit skeptical coming into school about how I would feel about having all my exams on the same week, but it's really nice. You don't get behind in any certain class because they're all kind of at the same time, and you're forced to keep up with all of them simultaneously, which is really nice. And everyone on campus is in the same boat. Everybody knows what's going on, so everyone works really hard that week together. So that's going in the classroom. This is our Learning Resource Center. It's located on the third floor of the tower, right across from the technology department. This is a really great resource if your computer happens to break. A lot of what we do at SCO is online. Pretty much all of our professors we use Moodle. So everything you need is going to be online. So if you happen to break your computer, this is a really good spot to go. They also have some of the software that you might need for like your anatomy class, your first year's downloaded here. If you don't want to download it to your own computer, you can come here. And since starting in the clinic, the Learning Resource Center has also been really nice because a couple of the computers are linked up to our charting system over in the clinic. So if you want to actually enjoy your lunch break and get out of the clinic for a little bit, you can come in here on your lunch break and kind of finish up your charting a little bit, which has been a super nice advantage to have where you don't have to be over in the clinic all day. And like I said, it's right across from the IT department. They know everything there is to know about computers, so you don't have to worry about any problem that you're having with your computer. You just stop by, and 99 times out of 100, they're able to fix it. So they're a really, really great resource for us as students. This is a square meal. It's located on the fourth floor of the tower. They're kind of our food service that we have at the school. They serve breakfast and lunch every day. It's very affordably priced. It's a little bit cheaper than going out and to getting fast food, but it's really conveniently located, and the food is actually very, very good. I highly recommend the Southwest chicken wrap if you find yourself on campus. It's a really good option for students, especially during our busy weeks. A lot of students will bring their own lunch, and there are tons of fridges that you can go and leave your lunch in for the day, which is great. But on those really busy weeks where you might not have time to get your usual meal prepping done, or you've just come in really late the weekend before and you didn't have time to prepare lunch, it's a really great option. You don't have to leave campus, and it takes like no time to get your lunch that day. This is our library. It's located on the fifth floor of the tower. It's our main designated quiet study space on campus. So if you're an individual that gets really distracted and you prefer to chat more than study, this is a really great place to go. You can kind of tuck yourself away in the corner, especially during exam weeks. There's a ton of resources in the library as well. All of our printing services is run through here. There's study rooms here as well that you can book. Um, and any textbook that you might need. Not many of our professors use textbooks here, and if they do, there's normally just a little blurb of it posted on Moodle. But if you're someone who likes to read the textbook and get that extra information and extra practice, the library will have all the textbooks for you. Since you are on a student budget, it's really nice that you can just go and rent out the textbook for a little bit and just get that one little section that you might need. This was also newly renovated. Um, in the past couple of years too. So there's new study pods that are super comfortable, and there's a ton of desk areas, kind of a different setup for whatever you might need. And there's also the computers in here as well that link to our charting service. This is our Hayes Center for Practice Excellence. It's located up on the 10th floor of the tower. It was founded in 2005. It was donated by Dr. Jerry Hayes and his wife, and it's an alumni donated program. It's mainly set up to help more with the business aspect of optometry. SCO prepares you really, really well to be the best clinical doctor that you can be. But this service is set up to more help you manage the business aspect side. So if you're especially if you're wanting to go into private practice, they're a really great resource to go through. They can start with you from day one if starting your own practice right out of school is something that you're really passionate about doing. They're a really good resource for students who are looking to go that route. Also, during your third and fourth years, whenever you start getting contracts and resumes and offers and all that stuff, they'll go with it through you, show you which aspects you might want to negotiate up and which aspects are a really good deal that you need to seriously look into. And they also do mock interviews with you to help you hone in on your interviewing skills, which is a really great resource to have. They're available to students, like I said, from their first year, and they're also available to all the alumni. They have a website of all the positions that are open across the country that's available to all the students and the alumni as well. These are our practice suites for our board exams. These recently got moved over to the tower. They were located over in the clinic, but we kind of moved them over to the tower, kind of get it out of the patient flow area so students could more focus on their skills. Part three of boards you'll take during your fourth year, and you have to travel to Charlotte, North Carolina. Every optometry student in the country travels there to take it. And these rooms are set up exactly how those rooms are. So they've just kind of revamped part three. Last year's class was the first year that took part three. So there's room for growing, and SEO keeps improving these rooms as they're learning more and more about what the new part three looks like. But these rooms specifically mirror the rooms that you'll see in Charlotte. It kind of takes out another variable, takes out one more new thing that you have to worry about that day as you're taking one of the biggest exams of your life. There's cameras on all of our equipment and the slit lamps so you can kind of record your skills and go back and watch it and see what areas you might need to improve on, what areas you could add more efficiency to, and things like that. This is our student services. So you'll spend a lot of time with them as you go through the application process. They're located up on the 11th floor. They're amazing. I love working with all of them. They'll answer any questions you might have about where can I go grocery shopping in Memphis? Where's a safe place to live? What do students like to do during their free time? And all the questions in between. They'll answer all the scholarship questions for you, state seats, all the confusing aspects that come with starting your optometric career. So they're a great resource. You can just bebop up there. They normally have a candy bowl too. So nice people to come say hi to. Okay, we're going to move on over to the eye center. Okay, so the eye center and the tower are connected via a bridge walkway, so you can just get done with class in the morning and come on over to the clinic. We don't have to drive anywhere. There's not like a remote. We have one remote site that I'll talk about later, but for the vast majority of your clinical experience, it's going to be right there connected to the school, which is super nice. Our eye center was opened in 2002. It's one of the most premier optometric clinics in the country. It's over 550 square 1,000 square feet. And because we are an optometric only school, we're going to have a bunch of different departments. It's not just primary care. We have a bunch of different specialties that you'll get to rotate through, which is really awesome. We have a new advanced procedure suite that I'll talk about here in a minute, and it sees thousands of patients a year. So on an average day, we'll see about 400 patients a day. And starting in your third year, you're doing the entire patient encounter. So it's your specific patient, you pick them up and do the whole exam and take them all the way to checkout. So you get to do the whole thing. Okay, so this is where your patient experience will start. They'll come and check in the back of this photo is our check-in desk in our lobby. Like I said, we see about 350, 400 plus patients a day, so it can get quite busy in here. Kind of your typical lobby here. We have our security desk too to keep us all safe. As everything goes on, we accept pretty much any insurance in the book, so we're a very accessible form of eye care for our community here. Where the school is located, we're not in the highest health literacy area of Memphis, which is, while it's sad, it's amazing for our education. We get to see a bunch of different patients, a very diverse group comes through. So. Okay, starting out in our primary care suites, this is where you'll get the vast majority of your clinical experience in your third year. You can think of the primary care suite as kind of your routine eye exam, but with the patient population that we see in Memphis, pretty much none of these patients are coming in just saying, I'm here for my annual eye exam. Pretty much all of them have some sort of either refractive problem or health problem going into the back of their eye. So you'll work with your staff doctor to try and piece together the puzzle pieces to give your patient the best care that they can. You work in a 4-to-1 student to staff doctor ratio. So you'll get a lot of one-on-one time with your staff doctor as they kind of help guide you through your patient encounter and lead you on the correct way. If you're starting to think of the wrong diagnosis, they're there to help you and kind of steer you in the right path. So this is where you'll spend most of your time during your third year clinic experience. Okay, this is our advanced procedure suite. This is a clinic that you're going to rotate through during your fourth year rotations. It's one of our newest clinics here at SCO, and something that's really exciting that's happening in optometry actively. And when you guys come through, I'm sure it'll be even further along as the scope of practice for optometry is growing right before our eyes. So I know I'm from Texas, so our scope is still trying to grow into what it is in other states, but some states have full laser privileges, and at SCO, we're taught to the highest scope of whichever state has the highest scope. So there's we work with an ophthalmologist and obviously our staff doctor optometrist, and under their supervision we're able to perform these procedures on real patients. So you'll perform minor laser procedures for glaucoma and for cataracts, and you'll also do the pre and post-op care for our cataract surgeries that we send out to ophthalmology. So, and we also do lump and bump removals on eyelids, things like that nature down in the advanced surgical suite. This is our vision therapy department. Vision therapy is kind of like physical therapy for the brain. A lot of the patients that we're working with are kids here, but not solely kids. You're helping both of the eyes work together with the eye muscles. You're helping the eyes work together with the brain. Most of our vision is actually coming from our brain, not necessarily our eyes. So we're kind of retrying to train the brain to work better here. You'll also work with some adult patients who've either had strokes or traumatic brain injuries, and you're helping to optimize what vision they have left and helping them reacclimate to their new vision um, post these horrible things that have happened to them. You really get to help them through that. It's one of the most rewarding things that you can do in optometry, and there's a huge hole for it right now. So if you have a passion for vision therapy, the Vision Therapy Club's a great option to go into. And there's always room for vision therapy in every state, so be a good option. Okay, this is our optical we have here. Um, all of our lenses or most of our lenses are made in-house by the students, so you kind of get your hands on every single aspect of the optical from ordering them with the patient, making sure that they fit, actually making the lenses, dispensing them to the patient, adjusting anything that they might need adjusted at pickup, and every step in between. We work with our opticians that we have in the clinic. It's really important that you know how the optical works whenever you become an optometrist. Most optometrists don't make their lenses in-house, but you need to be able to kind of troubleshoot whenever you get the patient's lenses back from whatever lab you decide to use. Need to be able to troubleshoot, and your staff and all your patients are going to come to you when things backfire with their glasses, especially on your more advanced patients that need very specific things in their lenses. So it's really nice to get to work through here and kind of get the hands-on experience in optical. Okay, our pediatrics department pretty much looks like all the primary care suites, just with a bunch of toys and stuffed animals all over the place. It's a really fun department. You get to work with kids from infancy all the way up to 12 years old. It's really it can be a very challenging department because kids don't have the skills that a usual adult exam would have. So you kind of have to be creative and do a lot of modifications to get the kind of information that you would need to help best serve your infant and peds patients. Okay, this is our ocular disease suite. So this is where our patients go when they have more chronic conditions that are kind of beyond just the typical primary eye exam. These are patients who aren't coming in to update their glasses prescription. They're patients that have a health problem going on in the back of their eye and they need more frequent monitoring than our usual 1-year eye exams. So you'll see all kinds of different patients here from glaucoma, macular degeneration, all sorts of diseases that are going on in the back of the eye. And our staff doctors work really closely with you in this department so you can help learn how to manage these more chronic cases. Okay, we're going to talk about our external clinic next. We have one external clinic here at SCO, and it's called Focal Point. It's over at Crosstown Concourse. It's about 5-ish minutes away from the school. See here. Okay. So this is Focal Point. Crosstown Concourse, it was an old Sears distribution center that kind of got abandoned, and the city of Memphis kind of completely remodeled it, turned it into an urban downtown city vibe all indoors. There's restaurants, coffee shops, stores, there's a high school there, a movie theater, there's apartments there, tons of other things that you can do there, and it's even a great study space. It's one of my favorite places in Memphis to go study because there's always a hustle and bustle there. And we have our clinic there, which is Focal Point. It's more of a boutique private practice style. It's a very big switch up from the eye center, which is more disease focused and more it's just like attached to the school. So this is a good experience for our fourth year students as they rotate through here. If you're wanting to go into private practice, it's kind of set up a little bit more that way. And we also have our dry eye clinic here for our patients with really severe dry eye. We have a bunch of new technology with light therapy and all sorts of things to help with our very severe dry eye patients. We'll send them here to Focal Point. And that is all.
Alrighty, everyone. So this brings us to the end of our brief virtual tour of SCO's campus and clinic facilities. Now would be a great time for questions. If anyone has any questions, not just about the campus or the clinic, but questions for Catherine around what it means to be an SCO student, her process of becoming enrolled at SCO, anything like that, now would be a really ideal time. So if you do have any questions, please be sure to drop them into the chat or the Q&A feature, and then we'll be sure to address them. And then while we're waiting for questions, Catherine, anything that you especially love about the SCO campus, whether it's for your kind of personal betterment or connected to your education, anything like that?
For me, I've really enjoyed the labs that we have on the first floor, especially now that I'm a third year. I've started over in the clinic. Having those labs available after hours has been huge, and I feel like it really helped me prepare for the clinic setting, getting to like hone in on my skills. And just the patient population that we see in Memphis, I don't know if that's technically facility, but just in the short time that I've had over in the clinic, it made me so certain that choosing SCO was the best decision for me. Every single patient that I've had hasn't been your easy, typical eye exam. Every single patient has had something that's challenged me and helped me learn and grow and reinforce what I've learned in the classroom. So I would say those two things are the biggest ones.
Thank you. And then it does look like we have one question from Cami. How far away is a good place to live while you attend SCO? I suppose I can address that question a little bit, but for Catherine, do you want to talk about personally where you've lived while you've been in Memphis and kind of what that distance has been and what the travel or um, commute situation has been for you?
Mhm. Yeah, I live over on Mud Island. If you come into our SEO, you'll hear a ton of people talk about it. It's about 12 to 15 minutes away from school, so it's super duper close. I specifically live at the Estates, kind of tucked away on the backside. It's been really, really a great experience for me. I love living over on Mud Island. It's kind of like it's technically in downtown, but its own kind of separate neighborhood. A lot of outdoorsy space. There's a little restaurant on the island. There's a bunch of parks and everything you can go to, and a lot of my classmates live there too, so it's really nice. We can kind of just group study there on the weekends and don't have to come all the way to the school, even though it is only 15 minutes, but it's kind of like a dorm situation just because you all live so close together there.
Thank you. And then kind of to follow up on that a little bit in terms of how far away is maybe too far to attend SEO, if that is one of your questions, Cami. There really is no too far away. We have students who live relatively close on Mud Island. In fact, a majority of our students live on Mud Island. We have students that live even closer, live in the Midtown area where they're technically walking distance to campus. We have students live out towards the suburbs of Memphis and Shelby County. And then we have students who live in entirely different states like Arkansas or Mississippi. So the tri-state area really is on the whole a really great kind of wealth of housing options for students, depending on what fits best for you and your lifestyle and your housing needs. I will say that we do tell students, especially first years, that it can be better to live close to your fellow students when you're just starting out, not only for social reasons, so you're able to socialize with them more, network more, be around more of your peers and not risk feeling isolated, but also for the sake of a lot of the labs that you'll be doing them on each other. You'll be testing each other, learning how to use the different equipment with other students. So it can be nice to live relatively close to campus and close to each other, so you don't have to do, really big commutes if you're coming to campus after hours or before hours to utilize the labs. But let's see, any other questions? Oh, and I will say, Cami, for that question about living in Memphis, our last webinar last month was a kind of overview of Memphis neighborhoods and things to do and enjoy while in the city of Memphis. So I highly recommend you check that out. It is available on our website. Alrighty, and then who would you connect with for a one-on-one meeting? Oh, okay. So Cami, I'll reach out to you directly about that one. Um, all right. So any other questions? I see some people typing. All right. While we're waiting, any other insights about the campus or the clinic that you'd like to share, Catherine? I believe we're waiting on one more question.
Oh gosh. Um, I just something that was really huge for me when I was looking into what school would be the best fit for me was how centralized SCO is and that it is a school specific um, to optometry. I really wanted a school that everything was in the same place. I didn't have to travel in between class and clinic. And it's 11 stories. It's a huge building. So when you do get to campus finally, take the first couple of weeks and really kind of explore. There's a ton of like nooks and crannies and a study nook here, a study nook there. So the sooner you can when you get on campus, the better to just kind of explore it, kind of get acclimated, find what study spots work for you.
Wonderful, thank you. And then we do have a question from Evan. What was your reasoning for choosing SEO and how have you enjoyed living in Memphis?
Okay. I chose SEO, like I was saying, for many, many reasons. I really felt like SEO was the perfect home for me, not only for their reputation, their boards passage rates were really high. Everyone on campus was super, super friendly from the moment I came to tour. They have a really great scholarship program, state seat program. So it made school a lot more affordable for me having that option. And living in Memphis, I was nervous coming to Memphis for sure, coming from kind of a smaller town in Oklahoma for college. But I've absolutely loved living in Memphis. It's really surprised me, honestly. I was skeptical, as I'm sure some of you guys are. But Mud Island specifically is a super safe neighborhood. I've never felt unsafe there. There's a huge food scene. If you're a foodie, there's always festivals going on. There's tons of shopping in the suburbs. There's so much history in Memphis, the Civil Rights Museum, Graceland. There's so much to do, so much to see. And the admissions department is a really great resource too if you need recommendations on what to do. If you're like me and enjoy outside, there's tons of parks. There's the park on the Greenbelt, Tom Lee Park, over at Shelby Farms. So there's tons to do in Memphis. You'll never be bored for sure.
Wonderful, thank you, Catherine. Any other questions? Alrighty, I don't believe I'm seeing any more questions in the chat, but Catherine's email address is on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to her directly if you have any follow-up questions about the campus or the clinic or her experience being an SEO student. All right, so with that, that brings us to the end of our webinar. I know we've covered a lot of really great information today, and I hope that this has been of assistance to all of you as you start on your optometric journey. Our next webinar will be held in July, where we'll discuss the OAT and how you can prep for this crucial exam. If you haven't done so already, please request more information by signing up for our inquiry form. You'll receive a personal advisor and a personal brochure with information relevant to your goals and experiences. And also be sure to check out this and past webinars on our online information sessions page on our website, where you can see webinars going back, a good 2 or 3 years. So get a lot of your maybe basic questions around SEO answered with that experience. Thank you so much to Catherine for sharing of your time and your experiences, and a special thank you to all of our attendees who have joined us. We hope to see you all at the next webinar, but in the meantime, have a great weekend, have a great 4th of July holiday, and take care.